France, a country where history whispers through cobbled alleys, where stone-built villages sleep beneath the golden sun, and where every corner invites wonder. From the peaks of the Alps to the rolling vineyards of Bordeaux, this is a land shaped by centuries of art, nature, and quiet beauty. Beyond the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre lies another France, more intimate, more poetic. This is the France of flower-filled balconies, terracotta rooftops, and quiet church bells echoing across sleepy town squares. Here, life moves gently. The rhythm of the day is guided by the scent of freshly baked bread, the sound of laughter in village cafes, and the slow turning of seasons. Tucked away in hills, valleys, and river bends are villages and towns that seem untouched by time. They are places where medieval walls still stand tall, where every stone tells a story, and where beauty lives not in grandeur, but in simplicity. These are the hidden gems of France, places that carry the soul of a country that has inspired painters, poets, and dreamers for centuries. Stone by stone, Gordes rises from the hillside like a dream carved into the rock. Perched high above the Luberon Valley in Provence, this village seems to have grown naturally from the cliffs themselves. Its golden limestone buildings glow in the sunlight, casting soft shadows on narrow streets that twist and climb like a forgotten melody. As you walk through Gordes, time feels suspended. Shutters swing gently in the breeze, and the scent of thyme and lavender drifts from hidden gardens. The rooftops stretch like a patchwork of old stories, each tile weathered by sun and centuries. There is a deep silence here, broken only by distant church bells or the soft chatter of a market morning. The village clings to its history with quiet pride. Dry stone walls wind around olive groves and cypress trees. The chateau, standing guard at the heart of Gordes, carries the weight of wars, revolutions, and rebirths. Its thick walls have watched shepherds become sculptors, and fields turn to galleries of light and color. Tucked between vineyards and the Vosges Mountains, Riquewihr rests like a storybook village come to life. Its half-timbered houses lean gently along cobbled lanes, their beams dark with age, their walls painted in soft hues of blue, yellow, and rose. Flower boxes spill over with red geraniums, catching the sunlight that filters down through the narrow streets. There is a sense of timelessness here. Riquewihr has stood through centuries of change, yet its heart has remained still. The wooden shutters, the iron signs above shop doors, the stone fountains trickling softly in hidden courtyards, they carry the memory of generations. Vineyards roll right up to the village walls. The scent of grapes in the warm air is a reminder that this is a place shaped by the rhythm of wine. The houses, tall and narrow, were once built to store barrels below and families above. They stand close together, like friends keeping old secrets. Walk slowly, and you might hear the whisper of history in every corner. The towers and gates still protect the village as they did in medieval times. The Dolder Tower, rising with quiet authority, watches over the rooftops like a sentinel of stone and wood. Eguisheim is built in perfect circles, like a village embracing itself. Its streets coil gently around a central square, guiding footsteps past houses that wear their centuries with quiet elegance. Each building leans slightly into the next, timber-framed and painted in soft tones of ochre, coral, and green. Window boxes overflow with blooms, and ivy clings to the walls like old handwriting on a letter. There is something deeply human in the way Eguisheim is shaped. It feels like it was made not for movement, but for presence. The gentle curve of the lanes, the rhythm of shadows and light, the calm hush between the bells, everything seems to ask you to slow down, to listen. The village sits peacefully among the vineyards of Alsace. Surrounding hills stretch toward the sky in quiet folds, stitched with rows of grapevines. Rocamadour clings to the cliffs like a vision suspended between earth and sky. Built into the limestone rock face, the village rises in layers, each level echoing with centuries of faith, struggle, and quiet resilience. From a distance, it appears almost impossible, stone against stone, defying gravity, surrounded by the wild beauty of the Dordogne Valley. The sound here is hushed. Steps echo on ancient stairs worn smooth by pilgrims' feet. For over 1,000 years, people have climbed this path in silence, drawn by something larger than sight or words. The sanctuary of the Black Madonna rests high above, a place of deep reverence carved into the very bones of the cliff. But Rocamadour is not only a place of devotion, it is a village of wonder, shaped by the hands of time. Medieval houses lean inward, their rooftops a patchwork of faded reds and greys. Stone arches guide you through narrow walkways, where the light shifts slowly with the turning hours. From the lower gate to the sacred plateau above, the journey through Rocamadour is both physical and spiritual. High above the Lot River, Saint-Cirq-Lapopie rests like a painting brought to life. Built into the cliffs, the village seems to rise from the rock itself, its rooftops tilted toward the sky, its narrow lanes wrapped in silence. The stone here glows with a soft golden hue, warmed by the sun and shaped by centuries of wind and time. Every path in Saint-Cirq-Lapopie feels like a passage into the past. Doors carved from ancient wood, iron lanterns hanging from weathered walls, climbing roses that brush against windows untouched by modern life. The village unfolds slowly, revealing itself in layers, a curve in the road, a hidden archway, a terrace that overlooks the river far below. This is a place that has long inspired artists, poets, and dreamers. The writer André Breton once called it a place where he wished to stay forever, and when you walk its quiet lanes, it is easy to understand why. There is something almost unreal in the beauty here. It feels suspended between the earth and imagination. Beynac-et-Cazenac rises steeply from the banks of the Dordogne, its golden stone buildings stacked like steps climbing toward the sky. At the very top, the fortress stands firm and silent, its towers keeping watch over the winding river below. From this high perch, time seems to stretch out in both directions, reaching deep into the past and far across the valley. The village curves along the cliffside, its narrow lanes shaded by weathered walls and trailing vines. Slate roofs catch the shifting light, their edges soft and uneven with age. Every turn leads to another quiet moment, a doorway left ajar, a window framed by flowers, a patch of sunlight spilling onto worn stone. The chateau at the summit is more than a monument. It is a memory made of stone, echoing with the stories of knights, kings, and quiet days between wars. From its terraces, the Dordogne flows far below, winding through a landscape that has seen both battle and peace. Across the water, another castle rises in the distance, a silent reminder of old rivalries and watchful eyes. Moustiers-Sainte-Marie nestles between two cliffs, like a secret held gently in the hands of the mountains. A ribbon of water runs through the village, fed by a spring that falls from the rock high above. The sound of it, soft and steady, is like the voice of the earth itself, whispering through stone and time. houses here are draped in soft tones of cream and rose, their tiled roofs resting beneath the shadow of towering limestone. Balconies bloom with flowers, and narrow paths wind upward through arches, stairways, and quiet courtyards. At every turn, the village invites you to look closer, to move slower. Above it all, suspended between two cliffs by a simple chain, hangs a golden star. It floats there with no explanation, its story wrapped in legend and devotion. It does not demand belief, only wonder. The scent of lavender drifts from the nearby fields, carried on the breeze that moves through shuttered windows and sun-warmed stone. Workshops hum softly with the rhythm of pottery wheels, for this is a village shaped not only by nature, but by the hands of artists. Theirs rises like a dream above the Mediterranean, clinging to the cliffs high above the sea. From the narrow stone paths, the blue horizon stretches endlessly, kissed by sun and salt. The village itself seems carved from the mountain, shaped by wind and softened by centuries. Every passage in Ez leads upward, winding between arches, ivy-covered walls, and quiet corners touched by jasmine and rosemary. The air carries the scent of the sea mixed with the wild herbs that grow in the rocky hillsides. Time here feels thinner, like the village exists just slightly beyond the present moment. Stone houses press close together, their shutters faded by sun and years. Iron lanterns hang from arched doorways. Small fountains offer the sound of water trickling gently over mossy stone. There is no rush, no noise, only the echo of footsteps and the occasional song of a bird circling the cliffs. At the very top, the Jardin Exotique blooms where an ancient fortress once stood. Yvoire rests at the edge of Lake Geneva, where the water meets stone and the mountains watch from across the shore. This medieval village, once a fortress, now feels more like a garden blooming from history itself. Its walls and towers still stand, but they are softened by flowers, vines, and the gentle rhythm of lake breeze. The narrow streets of Hunawihr are paved in stone and bordered by homes dressed in blossoms. Window boxes spill with geraniums, roses climb the old facades, and every corner seems touched by the hand of a gardener. Time passes slowly here, carried in the hush of footsteps, the soft splash of water against the harbor, and the distant toll of a bell. At the heart of the village, stone archways frame views of the lake, where boats drift quietly and swans glide through reflections. The Château d'Yvoire rises near the water, its towers wrapped in ivy, its presence steady and calm. Though the castle is closed to the public, it watches over the village like a keeper of stories. Shops and workshops open onto the lanes, filled with handmade crafts, dried herbs, and the scent of lavender and wood smoke. Conques rests in a quiet fold of the Yvoire hills, hidden among forests and steep valleys, where stone meets silence and time seems to pause. The village curves gently along the slope, its dark slate roofs and timbered homes clustered around a heart that has been beating for centuries. At its center rises the great Romanesque abbey church, built from golden stone that glows at sunrise and softens at dusk. The Abbey of Saint-Foy stands not in grandeur, but in strength and stillness. Its carved tympanum tells stories older than memory, stories of faith, of journey, of awe. Pilgrims have walked here for over 1,000 years, drawn by the path of Santiago and the deep hush that lives between these walls. Their footsteps still echo on the cobbled lanes, worn smooth by generations seeking something sacred, whether in belief or in beauty. The houses of Conques seem to grow from the hillside itself, their frames dark with age, their windows looking inward with quiet, knowing flowers lean from stone balconies, wooden shutters hang slightly crooked, as if shaped by wind and time. Domme rests high above the Domme, its stone walls perched on a limestone bluff, looking out across the wide valley like a sentinel of time. The view stretches far, over fields, forests, and the winding river below, soft and golden in the afternoon light. Up here, the air carries a quiet stillness, touched by the memory of centuries. Built as a fortified bastide in the age of kings and crusades, Domme still holds the shape of its past. Thick walls and old gates surround the village, and narrow streets branch from a central square where the life of the town still gathers. The stone underfoot is smooth and pale, worn down by footsteps and sunlight. Homes in Domme are simple and solid, made of warm yellow stone with shutters painted in faded greens and blues. Window boxes spill over with flowers, and vines creep along the walls as if they too have lived here forever. There is a quiet elegance in the way the village reveals itself, gently, without show. The main square holds a peaceful rhythm. A fountain murmurs in its center, shaded by trees that have seen many seasons pass. Collonges-la-Rouge glows like no other village in France. Its walls are built not of pale stone or timber, but of deep red sandstone, warm and bold against the green of the countryside. Every house, every archway, every tower seems lit from within, as if the earth itself had shaped the village with fire and color. Tucked into the hills of the Corrèze, Collonges-la-Rouge stands with quiet pride. Its narrow streets twist gently between turrets and bell towers, past carved doorways and shuttered windows, each corner more vivid than the last. Ivy climbs along the red walls, and roses bloom brightly against the stone, their petals softening the strength of the village's foundation. The history here is long, and it lingers in the air. Once a prosperous stop for pilgrims on the route to Santiago, Collonges grew from faith, trade, and the labor of stonemasons. The noble houses still carry coats of arms, while humble cottages lean against them, sharing the same glowing walls and quiet stories. Les Baux-de-Provence rises from the rocky plateau like a fortress carved by time itself. Perched high above the olive groves and vineyards, the village looks out across the vast Provençal landscape, where the sun paints fields of gold and lavender beneath a wide, endless sky. Stone walls and towers stand in quiet strength, remnants of a medieval past where knights once ruled and battles shaped the land. The ruins of the castle crown the village, jagged and weathered, standing against the wind as a silent guardian over narrow streets below. Walk through Les Baux, and you move through layers of history. The streets are paved with rough stones, worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. Stone houses lean together, their facades sun-baked to warm ochre and soft beige. Iron lanterns hang from weathered walls, and vines twist like slow memories across wooden doors. The light here is special. It spills into courtyards and fills every corner, casting long shadows that change with the day. In spring, wildflowers bloom among the ruins, delicate against the rugged stone. Saint-Guilhem-le-Désert lies nestled deep within the narrow valley of the Hérault, surrounded by steep limestone cliffs that rise like ancient walls. This village feels like a quiet refuge, a place where stone, water, and sky come together in timeless harmony. The heart of Saint-Guilhem is its abbey, a masterpiece of Romanesque architecture. The Abbey of Gelone, with its sturdy arches and carved portals, has stood for over 1,000 years, welcoming pilgrims and travelers seeking peace and reflection. Its stones seem to hold the whispers of centuries of prayer, of journeys, and of quiet devotion. Narrow streets wind gently through the village, lined with old stone houses whose walls are touched by moss and ivy. Wooden shutters hang softly, often left open to catch the gentle light that filters through the trees. The air carries the scent of wild thyme and lavender, mixed with the faint sound of the nearby river. Saint-Guilhem-le-Désert feels untouched by time, a place where the pace slows and the world outside grows distant. Roque-Gageac clings to the foot of towering cliffs that rise sharply above the Domme River, as if the village itself were carved from the rock. The golden stone houses nestle tightly along the riverbank, their warm hues glowing softly under the gentle sunlight. The village is a tapestry of narrow lanes and shaded corners, where vines climb stone walls and flowers spill from window boxes. The scent of the river mingles with the fresh earth and the sweet perfume of blooming jasmine and wisteria. Boats drift quietly on the water, carrying visitors along the winding course of the river, framed by dense forests and steep cliffs. Above the village, the cliffs hold ancient troglodyte dwellings, carved directly into the stone, silent witnesses to centuries gone by. These caves once offered shelter and protection, and today they whisper stories of resilience and adaptation. Roque-Gageac feels like a place where time slows. The pace of life here is gentle and unhurried, shaped by the rhythm of the river and the changing light that moves softly over stone and water. Piana perches dramatically on the rugged cliffs of Corsica's western coast, where the red granite rocks rise sharply from the sea. The village is a cluster of old stone houses with terracotta roofs, nestled among olive trees and fragrant shrubs, all overlooking the vast expanse of the Mediterranean. The landscape around Piana is marked by the famous Conques towering rock formations sculpted by wind and water into wild, jagged shapes. These natural sculptures catch the light throughout the day, glowing orange and pink at dawn and dusk, painting the coast in vibrant color. Narrow streets wind through the village, lined with houses built from the same warm stone as the cliffs. Bougainvillea blooms cascade over walls, and the scent of rosemary and wild herbs fills the air. The sea breeze brings a refreshing coolness, carrying the sound of waves crashing far below. From the terraces, views stretch wide over turquoise waters, where fishing boats drift gently and the horizon melts into sky. This is a place where nature and village life intertwine closely, wild, untamed, yet inviting and alive. Montsoreau lies gently along the banks of the Loire River, where the water curves softly around the village's edge. This small town is framed by rolling vineyards and lush green hills, creating a scene of calm and timeless beauty. The heart of Montsoreau is its castle, a rare example of Renaissance architecture built directly beside the river. Its stone walls rise gracefully from the water, reflecting like a mirror in the calm Loire. The chateau has long been a witness to history, its halls once home to nobles and artists, now a quiet guardian of stories. The village itself spreads out from the castle, with narrow streets paved in worn stones. Houses lean close together, their white walls and colorful shutters brightening the lanes. Flower boxes overflow with blooms, adding splashes of red and pink against the soft earth tones. The rhythm of life here is gentle. Boats glide slowly on the river, and the soft rustle of leaves blends with the distant song of birds. Vineyards stretch beyond the village, their rows neat and steady, a testament to the region's rich tradition of winemaking. Najac crowns a narrow ridge high above the Yvoire River, its stone walls stretching along the hill like a guardian of the valley below. The village feels both ancient and alive, with a history carved deeply into its steep streets and rugged landscape. At the summit, the fortress stands strong, a vast castle of rough stone, built to watch over the surrounding hills and protect those within. Its towers rise boldly against the sky, silent witnesses to centuries of battles, sieges, and quiet days alike. Below, the village winds down the hillside in a series of narrow, cobbled lanes. Stone houses lean closely together, their warm colors blending with the earth and sky. Wooden shutters open onto sunlit streets, and flowers spill from pots along the walls, softening the strength of the stone. Najac's setting is dramatic. Cliffs rise sharply on one side, and the river curves gently on the other, wrapping the village in natural protection. The air is filled with the scent of pine and wild herbs, carried by the breeze that moves softly through the streets. This is a place where history and nature meet in quiet balance. Vézelay rises gently on a hilltop, surrounded by rolling fields and forests that stretch as far as the eye can see. This village feels like a hidden jewel, where history and nature meet in quiet harmony. At its heart stands the Basilica of Sainte-Marie-Madeleine, a masterpiece of Romanesque architecture. The church's soaring arches and carved stone tell stories of faith and pilgrimage that have drawn travelers for centuries. Inside, the light filters softly through stained glass, casting colors that seem to dance on ancient walls. The village streets wind around the basilica, paved with worn stones and lined with old houses made of pale limestone. Wooden shutters frame windows filled with flower boxes, and the gentle hum of village life fills the air. Vézelay's position on the hill offers sweeping views of the countryside below, fields, vineyards, and distant forests that shift with the seasons. The breeze carries the scent of earth and wildflowers, inviting visitors to breathe deeply and slow their pace. This is a place of quiet strength and deep history. Hunawihr rests quietly in the heart of Alsace's vineyards, surrounded by rolling hills and endless rows of grapevines. This village feels like a gentle pause in time, a place where nature and tradition blend seamlessly. The houses here are painted in soft pastel colors, with steep roofs and wooden shutters that speak of centuries of careful craftsmanship. Narrow streets wind through the village, lined with flower-filled window boxes and climbing ivy, creating a peaceful, welcoming atmosphere. At the village's edge stands a fortified church, its stone walls weathered but strong, guarding the village with quiet dignity. Beyond, the vineyards stretch out in neat rows, reaching toward the horizon where the Vosges mountains rise gently in the distance. Hunawihr is known not only for its beauty, but for the harmony between people and nature. Storks often nest on rooftops, a symbol of life and continuity here. The air carries the scent of grapes, fresh earth and wildflowers, mingling with the soft hum of bees and birdsong.